This episode is brought to you by Loot Crate, the monthly subscription box for geeks, gamers, and pop culture nerds. We want to believe, with the revival of the X-Files that we've all been waiting for, there's never been a better time for an invasion. An alien invasion, that is. Packed with the thrill of an extraterrestrial encounter, this month's Loot Crate features exclusive items from the X-Files, Alien, The Fifth Element, and Space Invaders, plus some classic sci-fi goodies. We can tell you this, the loot is out there. You only have until the 19th at 9 p.m. Pacific to subscribe and receive that month's crate. And when the cutoff happens, that's it. It's over, Jack. So go to lootcrate.com/KFGames and enter code KFGames to save $3 on your new subscription today. What's up, guys? Welcome to the first ever episode 53 of the Kind of Funny Gamescast.
Nailed it.
He does it every time.
Every single time.
As
always, I'm Tim Gettys, joined by the coolest dudes in video games, Colin Moriarty and Greg Miller. And for the first time ever, we are joined by the one and only Steve Gaynor.
Hey, everybody.
This is exciting. Today's going to be a fun show.
I just talked to Greg for two solid hours. This is going to be the new hotness. Mm-hmm. We got all the energy.
You're loose now. You got all the bad stuff out, all the junks out of your system.
That's
now you're
true.
here to throw gold.
I spewed the junk all over you, and now we're good to go.
That wasn't on camera. Don't worry. Remember, the Gone Home cast is up right now.
Yes.
On youtube.com/kindoffunnygames.
Spoilers started an hour and 15 minutes.
It's
so
true.
You can
An hour and 15 minutes in, that's when we start spoiling
You're
Gone
good
Home.
for an hour and 15 and then stop.
Yeah,
Play
but
the
I
game,
promised,
and
I don't
then-
know the topics.
Yeah, you don't.
We're talking about Tacoma today, right?
Yes, we are.
Good, because I promised that we would talk about Steve's new game, Tacoma, on this show.
Good. Okay. Very good. That'll be
See
topic
what I did
3.
there? I tied it together. They call
Foreshadowing.
it the Kind of Funny Cinematic Universe.
Yeah. I want that to be a thing one day. And I think we're edging closer and
The
closer to that.
KFCU? No, that's Kentucky Fried Chicken University, homie.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Kind of Funny Games cast, where every week we sit together, talk about video games and all the cool stuff going on. You can get it early at patreon.com/kindoffunnygames, or you can get it late at youtube.com/kindoffunnygames. Either way, we support you supporting us, and I like that a lot. Today, the first topic is one that we haven't done in a while. What are you playing right now? We just had winter break, whatever that means to different people. Probably didn't mean much to you.
I was working.
Yeah,
you
were working. We all were working in different ways.
Well,
some of us.
Yeah, just lying around doing nothing kind of working in a particular way.
So I just want to know what kind of games you were playing.
My favorite game that I played over the holiday break was Chain Smoking in Las Vegas, which was my favorite. You understand that particular game that I like to play. In terms of video games, I've played 3 games recently that I'll talk a little bit about.
Dude,
the first one,
overachiever.
Yeah. People have been busting balls about Metal Gear Solid 5, so I started finally really getting into that, and I played it for about 10 hours. And we talked. What did we talk about this? What did we talk about? Colin and Greg.
We talked about this on the last Gamescast.
Oh, the last Gamescast.
But you didn't go into detailed thought.
Right. So yeah, I won't belabor that because I want to talk about the other games more. But it's a Metal Gear game for 2 hours. I enjoyed the beginning. I think it's fucking awesome. And then it turned into a game I didn't really want to play. So
whoa, that's kind of backwards from I think a lot of people's experiences.
Yeah. Oh no.
Yeah, Colin Moriarty.
Welcome to Colin.
Yeah.
It absolutely is. It's
so you really loved like just a driven experience, and you didn't want to be in the open world.
Yeah, it's just not what I'm looking for with Metal Gear. I as I said, I think on the last Gamescast, it's appreciate the aesthetic value. You know, the production values, the aesthetics great. I like the depth of it. I think that there's something Peace Walker-esque about the game, obviously.
Yeah.
Just not what I'm looking for in a Metal Gear game, and I don't think it's the epitome of gameplay that people talk about it as it is. I think, as I said on the previous one, I think there's many examples of third-person shooters that feel better. So it's
to which all the comments go, it's a stealth game.
Okay. It can be whatever you want
just
it to be.
saving them the trouble of putting it below this video.
It can be whatever you want it to be. I did love, as I said, I loved that loop of clearing things out, being very silent until you found after 45 minutes you fucking want to throw your controller out the window. But so I appreciate it and it's there. I wanted to give it a go, but it's not a game I have any interest in going back to.
What is your favorite Metal Gear Solid game?
2.
Okay.
Right? Colin, welcome.
Let's
this
move
is
on.
a thing.
And then so the other 2 games I was messing around with, I never got through it. I'm a huge fan of Wolfenstein: The New Order. I think the game's fucking cool as hell.
Yeah.
So I went and earlier this year, in May or whatever it was, the Old Blood came out, the DLC, and I got like halfway through it, and then I just stopped playing it. So I just deleted my save and started playing it again, and I got about halfway through it, and still haven't beaten it yet. But I really love machine games. I fucking love those guys. Like I just think they understand the story-driven first-person shooter. I think the game feels great. I think it's not quite on Call of Duty's level in terms of the way maybe it feels, but it's pretty close. to me that is the high watermark of shooters in terms of gameplay.
Were you a fan of Riddick? And
I played Riddick
The
back.
Darkness?
I played Riddick back on Xbox, the original
Right.
Xbox.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the last Riddick I played because I think there's been like one or two since then that I did not fuck with. Yeah, that game was awesome.
Yeah,
Back in the day.
And The Darkness I thought was really, really good, and that was I think the core team that went off to form Machine Games.
Yep.
So yeah, no, I mean those guys know what they're doing.
Yeah,
for sure.
and I'm excited to see clearly they'll probably do another Wolfenstein. I think that's gonna be great. So I was messing around with that. I recommend that. I haven't gotten through it because I'm so meticulous about getting collectibles in games because I'm a moron that like I just really have to like go and like you do every little thing. And I still love their emphasis on the dream sequences in those games. Like I think it's so fun. And I don't know if you played them, whatever. When you find the beds in the game,
and
then
you
it
can
brings
play an
you,
original Wolfenstein
and
level
it's like a
in it.
nightmare.
Yeah.
I'm like that's so. Oh, I love that idea. The third game that I know is a little bit old for people that have played on Xbox One or PC, but we just got codes for it, and I just started playing as the Banner Saga.
Okay.
Which is cool as hell. Again, it's a little obtuse in some of its mechanics. Story's a little confusing. It's very like Norse, and it's so some of the names are a little confusing. It's hard to keep up with like who's who. But I do like the combat in terms of there being like an armor class and a strength class, and you have to damage them both in order to whittle these enemies down. I think it's quite clever and quite deep. If you basically like if the enemy's armor is above your attack, then there's a 10% chance per point above your attack that they will block your attack. So you have to whittle their armor down first. I think it's like really super clever.
Yeah.
And then
But you can still get lucky and get a hit on
Right.
them even if their armor is really high.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of choices. Like there's no permadeath in the game in battle, but there's permadeath in the choices you make around the battles. And I had this one instance where I like tried to save, this girl was under attack and I did the wrong thing and she's gone. Like she's just gone from the story. So I dig it a lot. It reminds me that, what we talked about with Final Fantasy Tactics, which I think is one of the great games of all time, or Tactics Ogre, especially Let Us Cling Together on PSP, which is a fantastic fucking game. We need more of these.
Fire Emblem.
Although Fire Emblem is a similar game, but I just don't feel like in a similar way to the Banner Saga, it's not all the way what I want. Fire Emblem's even further away from what I'm really looking for.
I'm really interested in why that is. Like I wonder what it is
Did you
about
play the
Fire
3DS
Emblem.
one?
Yeah, the 3DS. I played it for 5 hours or so.
Yeah.
It's just
I thought that was really great. But
I love it.
I'm also not like a hardcore Final Fantasy Tactics or Tactics Ogre guy. So
it's just one of those. It's the same thing with Disgaea, where I'm just like, this is not what I want. Like I want this very specific square soft style. I mean square soft back like old style, even advanced and advanced 2 or whatever on GBA and DS, I think was like way more aligned with what I want. I don't know quite how to explain it. Fire Emblem just doesn't resonate with me at all.
Here's a question. Speaking of Metal Gear, did you play Metal Gear Acid or Metal Gear Acid 2?
On PSP, no, I didn't.
You should. So Metal Gear Acid 1 was a little like they're trying to figure it out. Metal Gear Acid 2 is fantastic.
Yeah?
It's fantastic.
I played a little bit of Acid as a huge Metal Gear fan on the original and never bothered with 2.
No, 2, it's like really rare. They didn't ship a lot. It didn't do well. I think you can only get it on UMD. Like you have to track it down or whatever. But I played all the way through that game. They figured out the gameplay. It's really interesting, like smart card-based, tile-based tactics game, and like just a good wacky like Metal Gear side story. So track it down. I think you would actually really like Metal Gear Acid 2.
Metal Gear
Sounds like it sounds like it would
PlayStation
hit like the thing that you're talking about.
Yeah, scratch that itch, because it is a very specific itch, because it's not just turn-based strategy role-playing games I like. Like I played Disgaea and I appreciate it. People love those games. I'm like, this is absurd. Like this is not even remotely what I'm looking for, even though aesthetically it looks like it could be a new Final Fantasy Tactics
This
game.
guy is different though, because that's kind of a never-ending thing.
Yeah, and it's also like stacking enemies on the same tile. You're doing billions of points of damage. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah. It's like a parody in a lot of ways.
But like Tactics, especially like War of the Lions on PSP, which I think is the epitome of that, the nice translation and all of that is just, I don't understand how Square doesn't understand that they can make that game again and sell it even for $60 if they really wanted to. They don't have to upgrade it. Valkyria Chronicles is probably like the closest thing that that anyone has gotten. But these I don't know. It's just Banner Saga is good in its own right, and I recommend it. So far from when I played it for 4 hours last night. I actually played it for a few hours, went to bed, started reading about one-way trips to Mars, Kevin. That's what we were talking about that today. And then I just got back out of bed and played it again because it was just on my mind. So so I recommend it, but it reminds me of what I really want. It's like almost there.
Yeah.
But it is exceptionally beautiful.
It is.
It has
beautiful.
that incredibly beautiful, like kind of mid-century, cinematic animation style to it. Like all just like the color palettes and stuff are gorgeous.
Pretty.
It's pretty to look at.
I like it.
So that's what I've been messing around with.
Cool. What about you, Greg?
Well, are we trying to cover holiday break and what we played during holiday break? Did we do holiday break?
We did that on the last episode, but like, if you want to expand on anything, like most of my stuff is just expansions on that stuff. So.
Okay, so I ran through the Batman Arkham Knight DLC, got all the trophies in that. I was very excited. I like trophies, Steve Gaynor. You might not know this about me.
What color trophy did you
I
get?
prefer platinums because, again, platinums signify the game's real. And when a downloadable game releases without a platinum, everybody's like, what is this? If Taco Master could have a platinum, clearly Game of the Year 2013 should have one.
Kevin.
Went through, did all the Batman DLC. I really like the Season of Infamy stuff they added there with Mr. Freeze and Ra's al Ghul and all those things. It's what I think when I started it, I expect to find it under the Arkham episodes, where they put all the other DLC content. In reality, it was jump back into your game, and it's just another tab of side missions now with their own little wheel to expand on, which we always talk about how smart that is. Jumped in, did all of those. Then I went through and did all the rest of the Batmobile challenges, all the combat challenges for all the different characters and stuff. Had a great time. Loved it. Really, a lot of silver trophies, a lot of rewarding things. It was fun to run around as Ben Affleck Batman. See that and have
That's great. They did that. They added Ben Affleck.
The Batman v Superman suit got added long ago now, but this is the first like story content to jump in and use it with.
And I love that you have the T-shirt now.
I do. I got my Batman v Superman shirts today. I'm very excited to wear them.
It's gonna be great.
So it's like the robot Batman suit.
No, not that one. Just the one with the
right.
He's a stockier Batman, the big S on the chest, small ears. Yeah. So I did that. Played Bastion on Vita. Got my first game playthrough out of the way. I've started the new game plus, but I gotta commit to it. But we have some more trips coming up, so that's part of that. Along with Volume, which finally came to Vita, but I haven't started.
Yeah, I got to download that on Vita for my trip tomorrow.
Very stoked about it. Bastion still is awesome. Still amazing. Still love that game. Excited to platinum it because it'll definitely be one I'll chip away at over and over again. I know the challenge rooms are gonna be tough later on because again, platinums signify that they're real games. Even old games can have platinums. See, like Bastion. Just letting you know. Maybe you patch in a DLC platinum trophy. What else then? Oh, Life is Strange was the big one. Life is Strange.
Did you finish the whole season?
And I platinumed it. Yeah, I did.
So you're saying that even games starring teen girls
who are even games starring teen girls going through growth and personal change, they can have platinums as well.
Wow.
Life is Strange was totally awesome. Like I said in the Game of the Year episode last episode, if I had played that and had enough time to digest it, I think it would have definitely hit on my top 10 list of the year. But I played it late. I was late to the party, so there you go. But I highly recommend it. Totally enjoyed it. Thought the story was really intriguing. And that's what I think threw me is the fact that playing through episode 1 when it first came out, I was just playing it and it's like, oh, cool. Like she has the ability to rewind time or whatever. And then at the end, there's like this big, not twist, but like big thing that sets up of it. But it seemed out of place. Whereas in context of all 5 at once, you're like, oh, this makes sense. And now I know these people. Cause like even ending that first episode, like I didn't have like super strong feelings about Victoria or this person or that person. And then by the time you get through episode 2, it's like, I'm in this world and I love this person. I hate this person. I want to know this. And I don't trust him. You know what I mean? Like I wanted to see where all that was going and it pays off really well. Really great character piece in terms of talking to everybody. And then, getting to make choices, which I'm always a big fan of.
Yeah.
Most recently, one I'm excited because this is a fresh piece of hotness I'm breaking off for you right now. Because by the time this post, my embargo will be up. I've been playing Oxenfree. I'm
really looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Okay. I've been seeing a lot of like, I'm excited because I feel like I just started seeing a lot of hits for that, like maybe like a month ago, something like that. People seem like they're getting their hands on it and are really excited about it. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. I'm enjoying it. I feel my problem is that the bar was set too high over the weekend. I ran and hung out with some people, and it was that classic, oh, this game's awesome. If it had been released this year, it might have been my game of the year. And I'm like, holy shit. Oh, I sit down and play it, and I'm playing a pre-release build, so I've run into a few bugs and stuff, or I've had to restart things, and it's like, ugh. And so it's like screwing up the pacing, I feel like, of what's supposed to be happening. Yeah. I'm enjoying it. The story's super interesting. Do you guys know anything about it?
No.
I don't really know very much about it.
It's an indie game. You play as this girl, Alex. You go to this island, which I guess in this part of town, or this town they live in, right? All the juniors go out to the island and party and drink their faces off and have like this big, crazy.
Well, what is it?
Like, what kind of game? No, I know what you mean. I'm setting it up.
I like the face with that.
Yeah. What the fuck is it?
Is it a side scroller?
No.
Is it open world?
No, you're getting colder.
It is
Is it
top down?
Is it
No.
a racing game?
Is it a
Racing game. Race yourself to the island. No,
Isometric?
it's adventure game, 2D. You walk up. You can go up things. Like there's trails. You're in this like forest preserve wilderness, right? So you get to drop off.
But it's a 2D adventure
Out
game.
of town. Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. You walk up, you click on things, you do things.
Okay.
There's a radio you have to play with all the time and do different things with. I don't want to ruin the game for you. But you go to this island, gonna party it off. You get there, not a lot of the other kids have come or whatever, so it's just you and this small group that you're gonna party with or whatever. But there's all these personal relationships already that there's a new brother she has, a new stepbrother who's like hanging out with her for the first time. So he's kind of like the entree to we learn everybody's kinks and how they're all connected to each other thing,
Right.
and then start expanding on it. And then there's this thing where everything gets crazy, and so then now it's like even with like this door, I think this door should open and it's not opening because I think something's wrong. I'll restart it and I play through and there the door opened fine, which is not going to be in the retail build you assume.
Right.
To be very clear, even with like the little hiccups, I'm like, fuck, I want to keep playing this, and it's not supposedly that long. I was trying to play through it last night and I was like getting up to like it was like midnight and we're coming off of as recording the live stream where I'm exhausted, so it was like I could power through this but I'm gonna be garbage all day today. So I stopped. I'm looking forward to beating it tonight and seeing what's happening because the story is super interesting and I want to know, and there's clearly something happening with like other players in it. It's not multiplayer but like there's something going on. There's a lot of what the fuck's going on in this game. I'm excited to beat it to find out.
Yeah.
That's really where we're going with that one.
I like
That's
the vibe
awesome.
that I've seen from it. Like,
Art
it's just-
style's awesome.
Yeah,
voice
it's-
acting's really good.
Yeah.
You're walking in and like you're interacting with the characters, and then like your word choices pop up. So you have 3 above your head, and then X is always action. Or I'm using a PlayStation controller, but you can use whatever one you want to. It's Xbox One PC, by the way. And then you choose it, and then it goes. Then it's branching dialogue, and you start going and having all these different conversations, and people seeing you differently, or so on and so forth. So it's exciting. I like it. I think the bar was set too high, and I'm worried about reviews doing that when the time comes. You know what I mean? That they come out there and it is. This game's getting amazing scores, and I don't know if that sets it. But again, it could just be me having a bad experience with it.
Yeah.
Because I'm also then sitting on my bed playing on my laptop, being like, why isn't this on a fucking console? Why don't I get a goddamn console code? Be like a schmuck. No Steam. I don't care that some friend just signed on.
No, that doesn't happen on the other consoles.
Yeah, I've never seen that on
I
the
know how
console
to turn it off on the other consoles. I don't
can turn it
understand.
off on Steam.
I don't know how.
It's called Google.
Steve, what about you?
So I've been playing a lot of Gone Home on Xbox One and PlayStation 4. No, I've been spending a lot of time testing, fixing, getting that stuff through cert. But
It's out right now.
in the time that I've had when we haven't been having to firefight various things, I picked up Rainbow Six Siege when they did a free weekend on PC. Somebody who I knew who had it. No, actually, I got a code from somebody on Twitter who had like an extra one because it was like a referral thing, whatever. So I have never been like a massive fan of the Rainbow Six series. Like I've played a number of them. I did like Rainbow Six Vegas on 360, and but I'm not like a hardcore like old school like I played the original Rainbow Six a million hours. But I did play SWAT 4, which was an irrational game from between System Shock 2 and BioShock, and it was like similarly like a squad based. You go into this place, you have to like deal with the terrorists and like rescue hostages and all that kind of stuff. So I had seen stuff about Rainbow Six Siege and I thought it looked cool. Like the things that are really emphasized in it are there, you go into this facility, it's like an office or like an embassy or a bank or a house or something, and the terrorists have holed themselves up inside, and it really focuses on like environment destructibility. So there's a whole lot of like you can rappel up a wall and then bust in through a window and then send out your little like camera bot
your robot
to
car.
see where the terrorists are, and they're all holed up in the next room, but you don't have to go in through the door. You can like put a charge on the wall and blow out the wall and get behind them and take them all out before they know what's going on. And so it's like very strategic in terms of like you can plan ahead, you can scout the environment, and then you like if you hear a guy underneath you, you can just take out your machine gun and start firing into the floor, and it blows a hole in the floor, and you can take the guy out. So
there was an awesome gift on Reddit the other day, right?
Yeah.
Where it came up to one of the boarded up doors, and they always leave the bottoms unboarded or whatever.
Right.
They drove his car in just as he came through and turned. He got through the barbed wire. He saw that 2 guys were just about to come through, so he bopped out, came over with his machine gun, and shot through the 2 planks, and just like headshotted both of them without being able to see them. I was like, holy shit, that was awesome.
Yeah. So there's a lot of moments like that, and I'm the reason I picked it up on the free weekend was because I had basically thought it was like pretty much like a multiplayer only game, pretty much, and it is focused on multiplayer, but they have classic like offline. Well, you have to be online, but they have single player terrorist hunt where it's just like they spawn enemies and sometimes like a hostage or another objective in the space, and you as just a lone wolf go in and just like very methodically like try to find everybody, not let anybody get the drop on you, rappel up to the roof and then down the other side and come in through the window, and like it really gave me that feeling of like that SWAT 4 feeling of like, okay, like I'm just gonna have to really like take this one step at a time and be very intentional about how I approach this problem. And it was really hard. That was one thing, is like it's tuned for being co-op even in that mode, so when you play it single player it's really hard at first. And it was cool to play it over the course of the holiday break and just feel myself getting better at it over time, because it's like you have to learn how the AI is going to act. You have to learn how they're going to react when you start shooting, or when you XYZ. You're sort of like, okay, I can be better at this because I know these guys are going to like swarm me if I do this, so I need to like be ready for it, or even like learning to read the environment, because like in hostage extraction mode, part of the game is like you don't know where the hostage is, so part of it is like you got to scout and try to find the hostage. And at some when you start out you're like, I guess I just have to go in every room and see if they're in there, and then after a while you start to notice like, wait, they always fortify the area where the hostage is going to be, and so you start scouting, you're like, oh, there's a lot of barbed wire here, so that probably means the hostage is like past this barbed wire. Oh yeah, they put up some shields, okay, this has got to be where he is, and you kind of are learning how to be effective at the game. And now I have a pretty good like rate of like just finishing a mission solo when I started, and that was super not true at the beginning.
Just rescuing motherfuckers left and right.
Yep. And it's cool when you do rescue a hostage solo. You can only use your sidearm, and so you're like carrying them out with you, and there's some really cool moments where you're guiding the hostage, and then a guy pops out around a corner. You just like use your sidearm, take him out. And it just feels like really harried. You're probably at like a quarter health at that point because you're taking a couple of hits. So anyway, I've enjoyed that game a whole lot at this point. It's cool. It's scratching an itch as it was. Those squad-based first-person tactical games, there's not a lot of them. And when you can get one that kind of does the version of it that you like, it's really nice.
Yeah, Rainbow Six has like a certain draw. Siege, I only played Siege before it came out, and it was fine. I 99 out of 100 times I don't want to play online anyway. Yeah. But Rainbow, I've said it before many times, Rainbow Six 3 when I was in college was like a way of life for me and my friends. Like we adored that game. And like I used to say, and people that have listened to us for a long time know it, in Rainbow Six 3 in the single player, I used to kill my whole squad and play it by myself because I thought it was more fun that way and harder that way. I was like really, really obsessed with that game. But by the time it came to Vegas and stuff, I just wasn't. I was like totally off the wagon in terms of multiplayer games. But I totally get it. Like it's even the same way with like watching people play Battlefront or something where it's like I get it. It's just not the itch I have right now.
Yeah, it's not what you're looking for. Yeah.
So earlier before you're doing the show, we were talking about you playing Call of Duty. And there's something amazing that I want you to tell everybody.
So that's true. When COD Blops Trace
as they call it internally.
When CB3 came out earlier this year, I played it. I played the beginning of the single player campaign. And so when I play some games, I have found that there will be like a gore filter checkbox, and I usually just try playing the game with that checked to see what it's like. And I actually played through the entirety of Last of Us with the gore filter on, and I liked it a lot because I did the whole game, went back, did it, and then I went back through. I was like, okay, I'll start a new game and put on with normal gore, and I'm like, wow, the tone of this game feels a lot better to me when you aren't just seeing dudes' heads get smashed in half and blood go everywhere. Like it has that sense of restraint that you're like, yeah, I get it. I fucking wasted that guy, but it's not like gratuitous, And so I like sometimes I just like to play games that way. Like here's a pro tip: the game Limbo, Xbox 360, now PS4.
It's everywhere. It's everywhere.
Yeah. But it came out like 5 years ago now or whatever, 4 years ago.
Let me check if it has a platinum trophy.
Put your phone away, Miller. And so that game has a gore filter.
That game is gory as fuck, man.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I played it from the beginning with the gore filter on. it is way better and way creepier with that turned on because
What happens when like the spider tries to stab you or
exactly.
whatever?
So here's what happens. So in the default game, you start it, you meet the spider spears you, and your body's on it. It's like ugh, gross, and then it ends. When you turn gore filter on, you're just standing there, and the spider goes, poof, and as soon as it touches you, it just cuts to black, and it's just like oh, like it's like you just imagine what just happened to you, and it's like just way spookier. So anyway, yeah, like pro tip, if you haven't played Limbo, start it up and try playing with gore filter on because it's like it just feels like it fits with like how stark that game is. So anyway,
Steve Gaynor's Goreless Games.
so I was playing the Blops 3. And so at the beginning when you're starting up, there's a checkbox that's graphic content, and you can turn it off. And so per this discussion, I was like, I'll try turning that off. Two amazing things. One, this one's the less surprising one. They turn off blood when you shoot a guy, but they also blur out any like fucked up torture scenes or whatever they're like in the scripted scenes, which is not that surprising, right? But what's really good is that one of the very first thing that happens in the game is you as a player, you go up, you like interact with the console, and you turn on these security cameras. All the security cameras have fucked up torture happening on them. And in the scripted scene, they just zoom in on the camera, so it's the full screen. So one of the first things that happens in the game is just like giant pixels cover the entire screen like this, and it's all you can see. And I'm like, nice, good. But the very good and extra funny thing is they filter out all the swear words, and they don't do it by just like bleeping them or muting them or something. They do it in network television TV edit style. So all of them are like, if the guy was going to be like, these sons of bitches are flooding there's like, these sons of guns are coming for us. It's like, really, dude? And this the whole game is that. And it's fantastic.
We need to do a let's play of that. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
It makes me really happy. I played a good amount of that game. Just like to be like, just like this piece of junk. Yeah. It's like, I know what you said, dog. Anyway, so I was really glad that was the creative decision they made.
That's awesome. I haven't been playing too much. Again, a couple days ago, we were talking about what we played over the break. My biggest things were Amplitude and Freedom Planet. Two games that I recommend very highly, and if you don't know what they are, you should check them out, specifically Freedom Planet. You probably know what Amplitude
I know
is.
Amplitude, but I don't know about Freedom
So Freedom Planet is so I got a little excerpt from Wikipedia about exactly what it is, because I want people to get hyped on this.
Okay.
So Freedom Planet is a two-dimensional platform video game created by independent developer Galaxy Trail, a studio set up for the project by designer Steven Diduro. So it originally started as a fan-made Sonic game. So he was making this, and they weren't happy with like Sonic 4 episode 1 and 2 and all that. They're like, we want to do
everyone
it
else.
right. Exactly.
Yeah. Like the way 50 Shades of Grey started as a Twilight fan?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. The player controls one of three
Straight face,
anthropomorphical protagonists: the dragon Lilac, the wildcat Carol, or the basset hound Mila, aided by the duck-like Torque. Torque's the homie. The player attempts to defeat the evil Lord Brevin, blah, 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 all this stuff.
Evil Lord, good.
Now, while the game focuses on fast-paced platforming, its levels are interspersed with slower action scenes. Those slower action scenes are boss fights that are awesome. It's like, I don't know if you remember how cool the boss fights in Sonic the Hedgehog 3 were, Colin.
I don't remember anything being cool in a Sonic game
The
ever.
boss fights in Sonic the Hedgehog 3 were awesome. And they're right back here in the
Shots fired. Shots fired.
So, eventually, he lost interest in creating a derivative work and reconceived the project as his own thing. And he visited the website DeviantArt. I don't know if you've heard it. But it has a lot of connections to one Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah.
So I like that there's that connection.
And
there.
Shadow the Hedgehog.
Oh, definitely. any hedgehog. There's probably some dick pics over there.
Greg the Hedgehog.
And it got artist Zio Ling, who replaced the existing cast of characters with their own. So it's kind of like Sonic and Tails and Knuckles each have a thing. So they each have different play styles and stuff. Anyways, long story short, this fan project for Sonic then turned into its own 2D platformer that I would liken to being the Shovel Knight. Shovel Knight is to Nintendo what Freedom Planet is to Sonic or to Sega.
Okay.
And it's really cool because it's like it looks and kind of I showed you earlier.
Yeah.
And it looks like Sonic, but it has all these like nice kind of just Sega isms about it, and just the music sounds very kind of like classic Genesis, and like even with the Saturn, like there's a Knights level like
Ooh.
Knights
Right,
inspired
right,
Yeah,
level.
yeah.
So it's a nice throwback, and I've just been playing through it, and it keeps getting better. The pacing's a little weird.
Is it like
So
PC only? or
It
is
was Steam. It came out last year, and it just came out on the eShop on Wii U
Oh, okay.
in October.
Okay, wow.
So definitely check it out. A couple people have been tweeting at me saying that they played it after the stream, and they're like, "This is fucking awesome." So I highly recommend it.
What's the plan? I mean, with all due respect, why are they stranding it on Wii U? Are they going to bring it to PS4 and Xbox One?
It was a Kickstarter project, and then
that was a goal or something. Like
I don't know all of that, but I do know it just got on there, and they announced a Freedom Planet 2. So I'm assuming that like they're trying to make this a thing. But I don't know what the history is with Shovel Knight. Like, why was that on Wii U first, and then?
Well, I think because it was an ode to Nintendo, but they had always had intentions of bringing it everywhere eventually.
I think it was also kind of because Way Forward always had a strong connection to Nintendo, and they came from Way Forward. The developers of Shovel Knight did and everything.
Yeah, Sean and those guys. I think it was them being true to their connections and them being true. I think to the spirit of one of the great games of last generation, of course. Shovel Knight.
Yeah.
So here's a question. To be fair, why is it called Freedom Planet? Is there a planet where everyone's free on it? Is
I'm
there
not
a planet that needs
exactly
to be
fighting
freed?
for the freedom of the planet.
It's very
Okay.
based. Like the art style is like very old school Chinese kind of just an old Chinese look. So everything's very just like
mythology.
yeah, yes, that's
Okay.
exactly.
Okay.
That was the word I was looking for. And it's cool because it's not based on the Saturday morning Sonic cartoon, but it really kind of looks like it, and the story of it has that same stupid. Like, did you ever watch?
So you've got to go fast. You need chili dogs. Is this what I'm hearing?
No, that's the that was the other cartoon. That wasn't Saturday mornings.
Okay,
Because
sorry.
there was two cartoons in the 90s for Sonic.
This is too deep of Sonic 90s cartoon lore for me.
But there was two, so one of them was referred to as
You
Sonic
could be lying. I wouldn't even know.
Satam, which is SATAM, the Saturday morning cartoon. That was like a much deeper one. That one was the one you're talking about. It was like Goofy and the corn dog
Okay.
or the chili dogs was
Yeah.
that was like a 4 p.m. on Fox show.
Okay, all right.
Where that's more kiddie based. Whereas
So
this
the Saturday
one,
morning
this
was like a
dark.
true drama?
Yeah, I mean, it was like, as deep and dark as
Dr. Robotnik
as
dies
kids'
at the end.
morning
Yeah.
shows get, but it was like
It was a precursor of
so-
like the serialized HBO style television that we've become used to.
Well, the story of Sonic, even in the games, is that these like robotic dudes come and take over the animals
Yeah,
and like
and
it's
enslave
kinda-
them.
Exactly,
Yeah,
and it's
that's
kind of
true.
The cartoon is more that flavored, where
Okay.
it's a little darker and it's about machines taking over and all
Okay.
that. And there's this whole cast of characters in that show that like there's like a princess and a bunch of stuff that are definitely not in the Sonic games, but it's cool and it had a nice feel to it. And this reminds me of that. Like that show is part of the reason why I like Sonic so much. And the plot of this game is stupid as fuck, but in a good way. It's very 90s, and it's not just a throwback to the
Yeah, yeah.
games. I like that it's a throwback kind of to everything. And the planet in that show was called Planet Freedom.
Okay, there we go.
So-
you had a very, very, very good answer.
Yeah.
That was a long walk you brought us on.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, it's that's why I think it's titled that. But I do want to bring mention to the fact that I think that the show was an inspiration for this game because you
Yeah.
see it. You see it. It's not just like a Shovel Knight was to the games, but this is, I think, it's like the Sega. What I think of Sega being in the '90s, and I really like it a lot. Definitely recommend it.
Okay.
And the other thing is Amplitude. My God, like I'm trying to platinum that game. I want to now. At
Yeah.
this point, it's like a desire I have.
See, even games
I've
that
never
are
platinumed a
kickstarted.
game. I want you to know I'm not on this team trophy craziness, but I want to make it happen with
Well,
Amplitude.
there are some games where it's like, I assume Amplitude is really challenging to platinum because you have
Yep.
to like be good as hell at it, I imagine. So like, I can see how if you're really into it, you just want to be able to like,
And that's my
hit that
thing. Is
bar.
like, it's
Yeah.
so good. And speaking of bars, the way that they kind of
Waiting for
score
this.
you is on bars.
okay, nice.
So
nice,
it's like you can
nice.
3-bar the songs, and I've 3-barred every song in the game. So I'm on my way.
Very
I'm
nice.
getting there. I'm
Very
making
nice.
some damn progress
Good.
here.
What's
But
the
I
max?
still
Like
haven't
4 or
unlocked.
5? Or three's the
most.
max. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So
All right.
I've maxed out all of them. So I'm making some progress. The problem is there's a super difficulty to unlock, and I still haven't unlocked it because you have to beat the entire campaign on expert without dying. And I'm like,
wow.
with unlocking all the songs, and it is impossibly hard, man.
Yeah.
Like I feel like it should have been a little easier to do that. But my boy Jimmy Champagne hit me up on Twitter, and he did his video that he posted, and I watched it last night, and I was so busy last night and so tired, but it was one of those things. I haven't played the game for like a week. 'Cause We've
Jonesing.
been doing stuff, and I saw this video. I'm like, I need to stop what I'm doing. I need to play more of this.
Jimmy Champagne. Yeah.
Jimmy Champagne. It's worth pointing out that we're in that time warp. So I will have all the trophies in Gone Home on PlayStation 4 except
Are they out
Platinum
yet?
that doesn't exist.
Are they out yet, the trophies?
No, I haven't seen them. Have you seen them? Hey, what are the trophies? Tell me all the trophies
I designed
for your
them.
game. Why aren't they up yet? Where are my code? Why don't you have a code yet? This game, just give me what's going on with the game. It's out right now.
Making games is hard, man.
Go buy it on PS4 and Xbox One.
Busting balls today, Greg.
Ball busting.
Oh, well, it's because me and Steve are such good friends.
Yeah. Anyways,
Yeah,
I
you
really
think
recommend
that-
Amplitude.
Steve's
So
gonna
please,
fucking-
please go support
With
them.
friends like
DLC.
this, who needs enemies?
Yeah, go support Amplitude so I can get DLC. I'd appreciate that.
And Freedom Planet because you got to go fast.
And Freedom Planet too.
Need chili
You do
dogs.
got to go fast.
And gone home.
And Gone Home too.
And if you want a
Fine.
palate
whatever.
cleanser, if you want a palate cleanser, download Mario 3 or Super Mario World so you can see.
Yeah,
what
so
a
you can
good
know
game
what a
from that
real
era
good game
played
is.
like.
Exactly. I'm with you on that. All right, guys. Topic
This guy
topic
loves
two.
it.